Seesaw does not have a built-in gradebook for teachers to use to score students' work, but it does have a progress monitoring tool called Skills. If you look in the journal feed at each of the items that students have submitted, you'll notice a little graduation cap at the bottom of each item. If you tap on that graduation cap, it will load all of the skills or power standards that have been uploaded to your school to rate students' mastery or proficiency on work with. So for this particular item, I might want to keep track of this student's fluency as demonstrated in this work, their knowledge of sight words, and how well they listen to or follow the directions given in this assignment. So I'll check listens carefully to directions here. Then what I can do is I can rate students' proficiency as demonstrated in this work on these skills. So for fluency, the student didn't record an audio recording of them reading the words, so I actually don't know what their fluency is. So I'm just going to tap on 1 star there. 1 red star demonstrate that this student's skill level, as demonstrated by this work, is at the beginning phase or beginning proficiency level. If I had tapped on 2 yellow stars, it would mean this student's work is showing a developing level of proficiency. 3 bright green stars or light green stars would show that the student's work is proficient. And 4 dark green stars would indicate that the work level demonstrated here by the student exceeds expectations. Again, this student did not have a recording, so I'll return that to just 1 red star. Again, since there's no recording, I'm not sure if they recognize these sight words, and because they didn't follow the directions, I'm going to give them 1 red star for a beginning level proficiency for following directions. I could add some additional skills to this item if I wanted to. You can have up to 10 skills tagged for each piece of work. I'm going to leave it with just these 3 and check the green check mark up here to save my ratings. Now we can see on that graduation cap that it is light blue, which means it has some skills attached there. And we can see that there are actually 3 skills attached with this item. So I could do this for every item as I go through the journal feed here. Right? I can also attach skills to activities, and instead of going one by one through each student's piece of work, I could hop over to the activities tab and I could actually tag those skills to an activity before I even assign it to students. So I can go to the green plus, assign an activity. I could grab an activity either from the Seesaw community or from my library. I'm going to use this activity on fractions here, and I've already done some editing on this activity, so I'm just going to tap on the green assign button here, and I'm going to assign this to my whole class. And over here where it says skills, I'm going to pre-assign some skills with the skills tab. So I can scroll through here and I could find the math power standards that are relevant for these fractions. So maybe I want students to be able to count forward. So I'll check off that skill, and then I'll tap the green check mark to save that skill, and I'll go ahead and assign it. Now as my students do this activity, that skill will already be tagged on all of their work, so I won't need to select that skill for every student's piece of work. I'll just tap on the stars to rate their work. When I'm ready to review student work, all I need to do is scroll through my activities and find some student work that has been submitted. Tap on the little thumbnail to see a larger view. Here I can see my skills that were pre-tagged in this activity are right there at the bottom waiting for me. This student was supposed to identify these coins. They have correctly identified all of these coins and their value, so I will give them 3 stars for being proficient, and then I can approve this student work. So by having this skill already tagged to the student's activity, it saves me the time for every single one of my students who submits an activity of having to tap the check mark to save that activity or tag that skill to that activity. So doing this before you assign your activities to students will save you a lot of time in your workflow as you review and approve student work. Now I can also go back later to an activity even after I have assigned it to my students, and I can tap on my 3 dots, edit activity, scroll down here to the bottom and tap on more options and scroll down a little bit more, and right here on skills tap edit, and here again I can pick out which skills fit with this activity. So if I'm looking for a math standard here, a math power standard on shapes, describing a circle, a cone, cylinder, rectangle, rectangular prism, a square, triangle, whatever sorts of shapes they may see here in this activity. Alright, so I'm going to tag those and I am going to save those skills, and again I can have up to 10 skills tagged on any activity or piece of student work, and then I will save those skills. The skills are only visible to the teacher and any other co-teachers. Skills are not viewable to the student or to the parents or family members. But the real power of skills is over here on the skills tab, where we can see the skills view. The skills view keeps track of all of the power standards or skills that we have tagged pieces of student work to, the students' names on the left side, and the number of pieces of student work that they have submitted for each of those skills or power standards. Each of those are color coded, so we can see here that this student has submitted 2 items for this standard of using labels and words to give details. That square here in the skills view is a bright green, and that lets us know that the last piece of student work that the student submitted, we gave a 3-star or proficient rating to. We can actually click into that square, as I just did, and see that work to remind ourselves of why we've given the student that rating. So we can go back and review the actual piece of work. We can see those skills and the star rating that we gave to each one of them, and we can see both pieces of work and the ratings for both of those. So this is a good way to remind yourself when it's time to do progress reports or report cards exactly where students are performing on their standards or skills. I'm going to click here to go back to the skills view. Anywhere we see a gray square with a 0 in it means this student has not done any work yet that has been tagged with that standard, either through an activity or by submitting an item in the journal. So we don't have any work to show yet for that. If we had a gray square that had a number in it, that would mean that the teacher, as in this case, has not rated this piece of work yet, has not gone in and ranked the student's proficiency with the stars on the skills. So here for this example that we haven't rated, we could play this video.
I really like the slide. The slide's my favorite. 8 years, my favorite thing.
We could click on our graduation cap and we could rank this student's work on these stars. So they gave their opinion of what they liked. I am going to give them 3 stars for that, for being proficient. I gave them 4 stars for listening carefully to directions, because they added in the arrow there to draw attention to the item that they liked on this playground. I'll go ahead and tap on the check mark there to save those settings, and I will go back up to skills view again. Again, the color of this square indicates the last item that the student has submitted. In this case, the student has only submitted 1 piece of work for each of these items that has been tagged with these skills. and it has been rated at a red or beginning level of proficiency. Again, we can tap into that square and actually see the item, and here we can see that the student didn't follow the directions. They did not label these items in this picture, so we don't know whether or not they recognize these text features. I'm going to click back over to skills. So again, for teachers, this skills view can give you a quick dashboard view of what power standards or skills or science big ideas and understandings that you have tagged student work with and that students have been submitting. It can also give you a quick view of what skills or standards maybe you need to reteach to your classroom. Over here on the right side, you can see that for this first grade classroom, we actually have 82 different skills available that we could rate our students on, including math power standards, literacy and writing power standards, and science big ideas and understandings, and any other sorts of skills or standards that teachers want to individually add to their class. Of those 82, we've actually only tagged 13 of them to student work so far. I can go through and I can sort, so I could see by subjects if I want to look at the literacy skills or power standards that my students have submitted work for. If I wanted to click on the math and see what math power standards or skills I have tagged in my students' work. I could even go through and look by students and see how each student individually is doing on each of these power standards or skills. So again, the skills view of a teacher's class's performance on these power standards or skills is a great way to see what concepts you need to reteach, or how to form small groups of students who need reteaching on the same concepts or who are ready for more challenging work on a particular concept. If I am tagging activities before I assign them with skills, or tagging posts in the journal view with those skills as I review and approve them, then I will keep up to date on my data here in my skills view dashboard. All schools already have literacy and writing power standards, math power standards, and science big ideas and enduring understandings already uploaded for them in their skills. Teachers can go in under the wrench and scroll down to manage skills, where they can tap on the new skill button and add any additional skills that they would like. All they need to do is give that skill a name, which they'll see up at the top of the column, and give it a quick code. The grade level will be the grade level of their class. They could also fill in the subject category and description if they want. Those are optional. Once they've filled in the information they'd like, tap the green check mark, and now that skill will be available to rate students' proficiency as demonstrated in their work with as well. So this is a great way to use Seesaw for formative assessment and get that real-time insight into how your students are progressing. Principals can also see the skills view for each class at their school by going to their dashboard, tapping on the Classes tab, tapping on the class name for the class that they want to view, and then tapping on the Skills tab over on the right side. Here, principals can get that same view of the skills dashboard for the class. They can see which items teachers have not yet rated their students' proficiency for. So items that students have submitted that are tagged with skills or standards but have not yet been rated are shown in the gray boxes with numbers in them. And again, the color represents the last item submitted. You can also tap in those boxes as a principal and see the items for each student as well to better understand that rating for that skill. You can return back to the skills view by tapping on back to skills view. And to move to other classes, you can tap back in the top left corner, back to your school, back to the classes tab, and tap on other classes to view their skills view as well.